Well, hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jared. I host a daily live. I can barely hold a smile. Um, I host a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics, and we typically go live about 8 a.m. to about 9:30 Eastern every day of the week. We called it Justice's Waiting Room because we've been waiting for justice. I just want to let you know that human rights first. Okay, has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration on behalf of the International Criminal Court, ICC, trial attorney and U.S. Army veteran Eric Iverson. So remember the name, Eric Iverson, challenging the administration's dangerous misuse of U.S. sanctions that threaten accountability for war crimes and violate fundamental rights. Eric Iverson, a fifth-generation South Dakotan, has served as prosecutor at the ICC since 2010. A veteran of the Judge Advocate General's Corps, JAG Corps, Iverson currently leads a team investigating atrocities committed in Darfur since 2002. He is lead counsel on the cases of Prosecutor versus al-Bashir, the former president of Sudan who's charged with genocide, Prosecutor versus Hussein, and Prosecutor versus Harun. He is the first American to try a case before the ICC. So again, we've been waiting for some accountability, and this is just the beginning. And I want you to remember that largely the things that this regime does is noise, because again, we live in a democracy where there are checks and balances, and ultimately, the president is not a king, and executive orders and presidential orders are akin to a memo, right? And even though Donald Trump went out of his way to delegitimize the International Criminal Court, here it fucking comes roaring, as I said. So again, for those of you that hung around or didn't, justice is inbound. Okay, you can't skirt the ICC. Okay, so know that there are going to be orders of escalation here. Understand that Donald Trump and his ilk are going to order escalation. So be on the lookout. Keep your head on a swivel. Know that, especially that, for the record, one of the things that I want to continue to point out is there aren't nearly as many MAGA as you think. And what you really have to be careful of when something significant happens. For example, an American being involved in a Human Rights First, which is an organization, has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration on behalf of Eric Iverson, who's an American citizen. Again, I'm not really big on like witch hunt. The reality is this: you're afforded due process in the United States, whether you're a citizen or not. It's all people's. And Donald Trump used his position of power and his relationship with people like Peter Thiel. We got to start the hashtag, by the way, divest from Palantir. Divest Palantir. Sell Palantir. That's who's funding ICE. And one of the things that, we didn't make any assertions about ICE, but one of the stories that's come out in the last 24 to 48 hours is about how when they ID'd some of these ICE members, we find out that they run white supremacist social media accounts. And we're not at a tipping point because these events have not escalated. If anything, they've de-escalated, and eventually, for example, people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia will be brought home, right? But I want to make sure I post a video this morning to make sure everyone knows that I know Human Rights First has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration on behalf of Eric Iverson, who is a U.S. Army veteran and a trial attorney at the International Criminal Court, the ICC, The Hague. And again, I just want to make sure I put that message out. Thank you to Gabby, One of my regulars in my podcast, I have a live audience, and I actually interact with the audience. I try to spend like quite a bit of time doing that, because I know there's like a lot of shows you go to where there's absolutely zero interaction, and this is max interaction, right? Everything but polls. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that I get this message out. Hey, we're still banned from TikTok for saying racism is bad, okay? And we're going to be live on YouTube and Clapper. Have a good rest of your day.